Good afternoon, David.
Afternoon, how you doing?
No bad, no bad. Better get Facebook on board.
Aye, carry on.
It's been a busy week, eh? And it's
Aye.
only Monday. We're doing well.
And it's only Monday. Yep.
Interesting.
Dogs marrying cats. Cats getting excluded for Russia. Big toy boats getting bumped at each other. But fuck's sake, man. Everything. Like, fuck's sake.
Language, didn't it? Anyway, that's Facebook on board.
Good.
So, anyway, good afternoon, everyone. Chris Wilson's in. Andy Scott Bryan's in. Mark Telfer's in. Jeanette Gilfillan's in. Mad Monk's in. Who else we got? Lynn Robertson. Mark Telfer.
Yep.
Mr. E.
I've got 50 watching on YouTube so far.
I've got 52 on YouTube, or 52 on YouTube and Facebook.
Just caught wee Lorna in sneaking round the corner.
Aye, Chris Wilson's in for Facebook. Alan Duncan's in for Facebook. Norrie Webster's in for Facebook. Good morning, Facebook. Good afternoon, sorry. Right. Now, I've spoken to a food bank in Falkirk, food stuff. I spoke to Moira there. She sent me her details today. I'll be going over to the bank in Baillieston to transfer funds to her tomorrow. I'm waiting on our food bank getting back in touch today. And I'm waiting on Alba Food Bank getting back in touch with me. Okay. So that's where your money will go once these food banks get back in touch with me. So the first one's been in touch, it's based in the Falkirk area. We're covering the FK postcodes this time, folks. Stirlingshire and Clackmannanshire. Okay. And believe it or not, that's the FK postcode area. So there you have it. So hopefully by Friday we'll have everything out the door and we'll give you a full report on what's happened by Thursday. Now let's get this one underway, David. Time's always tight.
Yes.
Because you and I waffle what fuck.
No, you waffle. I put in sensible stuff. And you waffle about it.
Right. I do the footwork, you do the waffle. Right, let's go on with it. SNP appoint permanent chief executive, Miss Carol Beattie, former interim chief executive, who took up position in October last year, taking over from Murray Food, who took over for Peter Muro. So, don't know much about her. Of two claims to fame. One, according to the Express, when she wished the royal family dead. Good for her. And the second one, bit of information I have about her is that she was the Chief Executive Officer of Stirling Council from 2019 to 2024. So, apparently, Carol Beattie, who's quite a young woman, she's going to whip the party into shape and lead up the charge for the 2026 election, David.
Yes, so, she's our Chief Executive Officer.
And of course, she famously was our Chief Executive Officer at the last election, where we got a fucking white took by the Labour Party. Let's hope she does better in the Holyrood election.
Yeah.
DJ Marcy Moo, you're visiting your gran, so I have to keep the naughty step warm for you. Aye, okay. Yeah, soon as your gran, you'll be granted a pardon for today, DJ Marcy Moo.
Come here, you.
Margaret, you've got a new broom. Ah, well, listen, cars are getting expensive, motorbikes are expensive, you may as well using your broom hen.
Don't say that. That's horrible.
Hey, I never said that.
Don't forget, he's a man that calls his wife the dragon. Bloody hell.
Not to do with me.
I'd wake up with a blooming stock of the blooming biggest knife in the kitchen hanging out me. But try that nonsense.
I've told the dragon tale before, it's nothing to do with me.
Aye, right, okay, aye.
Aye,
we hear you.
It was up.
We hear you. Sarah! Is that right?
Aye, it's right. There's a wee brass strip, as you know, between my front room and kitchen. And we used to tell the kids when they're toddlers, or she used to tell the kids when they're toddlers, come out of that line and you'll see the dragon's tail, meaning a swifty. So that's where it came from.
That's where it came from, right? Okay. All right.
Right, anyway, what a super chat for Liz Shields. Falkirk are going to need the food bank as the community tax is going up by 15.61%. Yes, and it wasn't a proposal from the Sitting Council. The Sitting Council's budget was voted down, and an independent councillor's budget was pushed through by the Labour Party, and that's why Falkirk got the highest amount in council tax rise ever. Now, we were only waiting on David's area in Falkirk coming in last time, I believe. David, I'll have a quick look.
As far as I'm concerned, the ones that have left it to the latest are the ones with the heaviest amount. So you can imagine now, Western Bartonshire, it's going to be massive.
Well, I'll be able to tell you in a wee second, because I'll find it.
No, you did give it. You did give it.
Well, I'm going to go and find the article anyway.
Yeah. I don't care. I really don't care. The days are numbered.
Your days are numbered?
No, the council's days are numbered.
As far as you're concerned.
The wee tin gods.
Well, can't find that scale today. For some reason. But hey, high council tax in Falkirk. Against the will of the ruling administration, council tax in Falkirk is up the highest, 15.61%. Unbelievable. Right, anyway. Hey, let's move on. Pre-Palestine group vandalises Turnberry. They dashed one of the white buildings on site with red paint. And then they painted on one of the greens, Gaza's not for sale. And then they dug up another one of the greens, putting the golf course out of operation for a short period of time. What do you make of that?
As far as I'm concerned, Janie Godley's alive and kicking. She's got that "see you next Tuesday" blooming sign up in front of her right now, and she's laughing her head off. Because obviously, with Trump saying that he's got a plan that says he's going to kick everybody out of Gaza and he's going to turn it into the newest flamingo land.
Aye, well, we'll get to that.
That is disgusting.
We'll get to that because Trump's about to come to further disagreements with his allies on this one, but never mind. Now, the great thing about this one, the story, the reason why I brought it up is because I have been advocating that we BDS, boycott, divest, and sanction the US.
Yeah.
And with the Canadians, thank us for boycotting US goods. They named the countries in Europe that were boycotting US goods in support of Canada, and Scotland was one of them. But as I say, David, my campaign at the moment when it comes to Trump is if we want rid of this muppet, and so he doesn't do too much damage to the world as we know it.
Do you know something? It's like I absolutely couldn't stand Biden, what he stood for, right? But to be honest with you, I'd rather have somebody on the Democrat side that was at least a more safe pair of hands than Trump, because Trump is causing problems all around the world.
Aye, big style. Very hard to get away from the big orange man baby at the moment.
Yeah, that's right.
He spent all weekend throwing his toys out the pram.
Yeah.
You know, but as I say, as far as I'm concerned, we can all do something to neuter Trump. And that is the boycott and divest. Our government's still going to sanction them. Boycott and divest. Yeah. Don't buy American goods. Dump your Amazon account, all that sort of shit.
And when he comes to spend time with His Royal Highness, who's got a personal letter from, inviting him to somewhere in Scotland, we make sure
Plan
We
estate.
find out the route he takes, and we give him the hardest time we've ever given anybody, ever.
Oh, he'll fly in. We're not anywhere near him. Right, anyway, they say boycott, divest. Just folks,
Aye.
don't buy Ford cars. Don't buy Tesla cars.
Yeah.
Don't drink Coke. Don't drink Pepsi. Hit the Americans where it hurts. Hit in the pocket. They'll get rid of Trump for us.
Yeah.
They will get rid of Trump for us. But the big orange man baby will appear later on again in this broadcast because there's no getting away from him at the moment. None. Right,
Well,
David.
I tell you what, the next big thing that's coming for us all is Trump's going to come in with some kind of plan to take over the NHS, and it's like Starmer will be there going, "Yes, sir, 3 bags full, sir."
Well, we'll see how that goes.
King Big Ears will go, "Yes, I think this is a lovely idea. I'll make another radio program over it." How's about that?
Aye. Well, anyway, to say we can do something with Trump. We can stop buying American consumer goods and hitting the American captains of industry in the pocket. We'll have them do something about Trump, as we've seen with the auto industry, with Canada and Mexico. When Trump put the tariffs on, the captains of that particular industry stomped all over them, and within 48 hours, the tariffs had been frozen on those industries and the components for those industries. So it will work. We can shackle Trump.
Yeah. The thing, I mean, Mark,
we'll get to that.
Whoever takes over Canada and the president of Mexico, it's like they've got the right idea. Keep their own tariffs in place until America comes to its blooming senses. Some of that.
Anyway, David.
Yeah.
Did you see Richard Tice's visit to Scotland on Friday? I think it was
yeah, we saw the thing in the fish and chip shop. That was rather interesting.
Oh, it was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Have you got that by any chance?
Oh, I am going to put it. It's one of the funniest things I've seen.
Yeah.
He's up here to celebrate the defecting of two councillors to reform, two Tory councillors to reform. And he didn't know their names. He didn't know their constituencies. But hey, and this is interesting because the guy who confronts him is actually for the Daily Mail. Believe it or not.
You know something, David? Can I just stop you just before you do? Did we put up Liz Shields? She gives us £20.
I think so. Aye, that's for Falkirk. Aye.
Are you sure? Right.
Yes, okay. Aye. Falkirk will need the money apparently with a 15.61% council tax rise.
Thanks, Liz. Thank you. Of course, yeah.
Right, here we go, folks. Watch this. This is a doozy. Make sure the volume's all the way up. Here we go.
UK have come to Scotland, bringing their deputy leader Richard Tice along to a Glasgow chip shop to announce their newest Scottish councillors.
It's always sunny in Glasgow.
But despite posing for pictures with Ross Lambie and John Gray, who have defected from the Scottish Tories, poor Tice couldn't remember their full names or which local authorities they represented.
So we've got I've got John and Ross, and they're from. Are you going to challenge me on everything, or are you going to ask a policy question? Well, I'm answering policy questions.
What are the surnames?
I'm asking policy questions about.
Do you know anything about Scottish politics? You can't even name your own members up here.
We've got 10,000 members. I don't know all 10,000 members.
You don't know the surnames. What we have got
is policies.
I'll stop it there, David. That's where the comedy ends.
Yeah. This is the idiotic thing about it, right? He's expecting to actually make Scotland go to Reform UK, right? And he can't take 2 minutes to do the amount of research it takes to find out these two blokes' names. The two men that are supposed to be giving him support in what he's doing, right? I think Reform UK, give them a blooming, get them a Twitter body swerve. Simple as that. Don't bother with them.
I'd asked them to name any of the 9 councillors that they now have. The majority of which walked the floor, except for one that was elected in Glasgow, believe it or not. But the two guys, John and Ross, were actually John Gray from Renfrewshire Council and Ross Lambie from South Lanarkshire Council. Now, what was interesting about the joint statement that these two councillors gave when they were crossing the floor, and apparently they spoke to each other, these two, because they both stated in each council chamber that their Conservative colleagues had become irrelevant in politics.
Well, according to Reform UK, they are irrelevant. All Reform UK want is, they want the bums on seats. They want the voting power. Well, show them the door. Simple as that.
Well, as I say, I thought it was funny. I thought it was worth talking about. Here's this guy who's supposed to be second in command behind Nigel Farage, coming to Scotland, and he couldn't be bothered his arse on the way up to find out who these two people were he was going to meet, which councils they represented, and what their reasons for joining Reform were. He knew nothing about it. It was as if he'd already seconds before.
The story that I'm getting is that this guy actually isn't second in command. He's in command at the moment because Nigel Farage is nowhere to be blooming found. No. He's a death threat. He's a all sorts, right? And he doesn't want to be seen.
No, we never that. People were threatening my life.
Yeah.
But it was bound to happen that when the veneer of decency was stripped away, that people were going to look at this guy.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, the outrage in the Zane constituency, Clacton right now, is massive. They've never seen him.
Yeah.
Unless it's for a photo op. And then they run like fuck.
Yeah.
So, but they are a worry. Especially as younger voters seem to be turning to them.
Thankfully, that's the case. But the problem is that there are no Reform MPs. There are the original Reform MPs. We're talking about people that were Conservative and will change to Reform. And I tell you now, it's like you watch getting up before their election in England, certainly this election coming for in Scotland, you'll see Labour will turn to be Reform because they expect Reform to be doing very well indeed. They won't be.
There was a couple of incidents of that in the press today, actually, with Labour looking at Pompeian slashes to the civil service.
Yeah.
A sort of Doge idea. And we've already had Anna Sarwar announce here that if he became First Minister here in Scotland, he would appoint a Doge type a department.
Department of General Efficiency.
Yes, of government efficiency.
I tell you what, it's like, that in itself is stupid. If you had a department of general efficiency, the government efficiency, you get rid of Anna Sarwar to begin with.
And it's government efficiency, no general efficiency.
Government efficiency. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Anyway, but Tice came to Scotland and the press deliberately embarrassed them. Deliberately. He was sort of ambushed.
Yeah.
He was badly prepared and he was ambushed. So it doesn't look as if Reform are going to get pushed in Scotland the same way they're being pushed in RUK.
Yeah, okay.
I would imagine that the mainstream media here in Scotland will know that it won't go down well, and if they want to sell newspapers, Reform bad stories are more likely to sell them here in Scotland.
Well, if I was to look at newspapers that will back them, The Telegraph are Tory, but they'll be looking to out reform, so they'll back them. Daily Express, yeah. Mail, Daily Mail, definitely, right. Might even get a surprise visit by the Daily Ranted to support reform, because they'll be looking to do anything they possibly can to get them away from their Labour voting side.
Right, Stephen Bank here. Thank you very much, dear boy. Food baby bank, every lot helps. Tesco advert. Yeah, Stephen the Tesco advert. Every little helps. What are you looking at? Pay attention.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm allowed to look at my. I'm looking at the messages.
Oh, good.
Oh, right. So just back
Right,
off.
anyway. I'll what you want. Borders Council Sky Bosch plans for huge wind farm in the near of Hoyk in the Borders. Now, because the planning department voted this massive wind farm of 52 turbines near Hoyk Doon by 553, it now goes to a public inquiry before being taken to the Scottish Government for a final judgment on whether this thing will go ahead or not. Now,
Going off the size of these wind turbines that we discussed previously, right? 180 meters. These are big boys, right?
Big boys, aye.
And we're talking about the Borders area round about Hoyk, right?
Oh, you see them for fucking Holland, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you think about it. Where's all this electricity going to go? I'll bet you a penny, it goes south. So one can imagine that some of the councillors in that direction, who naturally will be against England-facing border councillors, that they're against each other. Anybody that lives near a border tends to be anti the other side, right? That's always the case, no matter where you go in the world, right? So what they're doing is they're going, I don't want any electricity or a wind going to power England.
That's no it. It's just because it'd be a fucking ISO.
I know. They are massive. I appreciate that.
Councillor for a Tweedsdale East, a Marshall Douglas, he says, don't want these things in my front door. He says, size of fuckers. But a NIMBYism going on there.
Exactly. Can we just put this in your front garden, please? We know you don't want one in your backyard, so we'll put it in my front yard. How's that?
Aye, but anyway, it's going to cost the public first as it goes to a public inquiry, and then gets called in by the Scottish Government. 2 seconds, David.
Thank you, Kazi.
Just a wee something for the indie grannies and your wee mammy. Yeah, your wee mammy cat. I've got a wee cat here and all lying on the table. He's called Table Cat. But thanks, Kaz. You're always brilliant. Right. So do you think the Scottish Government will give this thing to go ahead?
I think the Scottish Government, because of what their ruling is in terms of green policies and all the rest of it being tied up with the Greens, I think they'll go yes. Yeah. Get it on, get it done.
You think so?
Aye. Yeah.
Now we'll see what happens. But we say it will be called in the Scottish Government after the public.
If you imagine that the John Swinney's raison d'etre, as he called it, out from the bench, he said, "Do you think I'm going to spend all my time trying to attract people to put money into these big wind farms by just pushing them away?" He won't push them away. He wants more growth on that side.
Anyway, the plans that were being laid before the council by Muirhill Energy as I say, have been kiboshed. So it will be called in now by the Scottish Government after a public inquiry into the plans.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move forward. Labour fucked their green credentials and turned their back on the Green Revolution as they are about to, they've announced that they'll scrap the oil and gas levy on or the windfall levy on oil and gas charges in 2023.
Drill, baby, drill.
Yep. It's all getting very, very.
That's it's an absolute bloody nonsense now, right? At least a guy that I disagreed with was Anthony Wedgwood Ben, right?
I was telling us, keep fucking head fed up hearing about this guy.
No, but the thing is, he did push them. He did push the oil companies to give in to what they wanted, what the British government wanted, right? What's happening is that with Starmer's government, it's happening the opposite way.
Well, it happened that way with Bojo and with Cameron, so, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, Osborne changed the oil tax regime so that the oil giants were paying fuck all.
Yeah, and no, but what he did was he changed the oil tax regime by practical means as well. He made it whereby the oil was getting picked up directly from the oil terminal, the oil platforms themselves, and taken to Rotterdam. Whereas in the past it was landed by a pipeline onto Scotland's soil, which meant we would be entitled to a section of the money coming from that.
That's correct. Anyway, why do you think 2030 is the date for it being ended?
That's the year we get hit with the asteroid, so it doesn't matter anyway.
No, the real reason behind it is we know there's an argument going on in the Supreme Court at the moment about in fact, it's already over. The licences that were issued were illegal. It's going to take a few years to do that study.
Yeah.
And then it'll be a couple more years before they reissue the licences. And then there'll be a general election in 2030. They might not be around.
That's right. I don't think they will be.
Where they might not be there. But it's more likely it's been announced because that's the point where they'll be about to really start work on the Jackdaw gas field and can't remember the name of the other one. The new oil field west of Shetland.
Oh, Rosebery.
No, Rosebank and
Rosebank. Rosebank. The other one that we don't talk about now is Clare Ridge.
Clare Ridge.
That was at the time. That was 2014, and we were all called conspiracy theorists because the unionists were saying to us, there's no such thing happening.
That's right. I do. We can't give it a hush.
We hear you, right?
Now, what's interesting about this is another Labour pledge which they have pumped their back on. One of the things they pledged today when they came into office was invest 30 billion a year in the Green Revolution.
Yeah.
To create green jobs and transform the UK into a green economy.
Yeah, again, begs a question. Why? Why, oh why? Is it purely simple that Starmer has decided that he wants to give the keys to number 10, at least for a short while? So just lie your fucking heads off.
I don't know why. I am assuming that the Labour Party will be getting backhanders. That's generally how it works in UK politics.
You know, the ridiculous part of hang on, I'll see if I can just find this for you. Where's the little traitor? Did I get my hands on him? There we are.
Who's the little traitor? You mean Ian Murray?
Ian Murray, yeah.
What's he done?
Basically, he's talking about Grangemouth and the fact that they really can't do anything about it. Of course they can do something about it. Of course they can do something. To leave Scotland in a situation where it has, as a major oil-producing nation, it has no oil refinery, leaves us in a situation where we have got fuel insecurity. You know,
Well,
and it's apart from the jobs. We're not talking about just jobs here. We're talking about an entire nation suffering from fuel insecurity. And we'll talk later on about this, because later on we're actually going to talk about a collision that's happened, and it will affect Scotland.
no, we're going to talk about it in a minute. But Karen's right, Cassie's right. Bribery and lobbying is why they're doing it.
Yeah.
Corruption is how that place down there works.
Yeah.
Corruption is how that thing works down that road. It is driven by dark money.
Yeah.
And almost everything that happens in politics happens because of the amount of money thrown at the political parties by the lobby groups.
Or individuals.
Right, moving on, we're going further afield now. We're exactly 30 minutes into the programme. Right, shipping disaster in North Sea off the Yorkshire coast.
Yeah.
The Stena
Immaculate.
a tanker, which was moored off the Yorkshire coast because of bad weather, was struck by the So Long container ship. It's a Portuguese flagged container ship, and the tanker was an American flagged tanker. Now, what's interesting, David, it is pouring aviation fuel into the North Sea, the English section of the North Sea.
And the aviation fuel was picked up by it to be taken to Rotterdam from none other than Grangemouth.
Now, David, as you pointed out when we were looking into this story, Rachel Reeves was challenged by Laura Koonsberg on the BBC on why Grangemouth couldn't be kept open to produce aviation fuel, because the UK buys in most of its aviation fuel. And Rachel Reeves says now there'll be a cost involved in transitioning it to aviation fuel. Any of us are no interested in doing that. And here we go. We find David and I do a quick Google search, and Grangemouth already produces aviation fuel.
Yes, and also this huge tanker. I mean, it's a massive tanker.
It's a mid-range tanker.
Mid-range, all right, okay. Still in all, mid-range, bigger than all the older tanker we used to say, right? Aye. And this thing was moored up and ready for heading for Rotterdam. Funny that, isn't it?
Aye.
Yeah.
Full of aviation fuel produced in Scotland at a plant Rachel Reeves says couldn't produce aviation fuel.
Yeah.
So there we go. Labour have turned their back on another one of their pledges. I think that's the odd gone now, David. I think that's every one of them gone, except for the beefing up of workers' rights. And as we know, that was watered down and all because of lobbying for the captains of industry. You know. So we need to see what actually appears out of that bill as it transgresses through Parliament, or as it moves through Parliament. But there you go, folks. Nothing left of the Labour's pledge.
The problem is that we've got Westminster that is sat there with Labour, Tory, and it looks like it's going to be Reform is going to be the big third party, right? Possibly they'll take the front running lead in the next Westminster election, right? And is any of it good news for Scotland? Is it hell? Time for independence. Make sure, get it done.
It's not getting done.
Yeah, well, it has to get done, David, and we have to actually lay the road to make it get done. Simple as that.
I've spent the last 12 years laying roads, and what I come up against was a roadblock called the SNP.
Well, let's turn the SNP not into a roadblock anymore. Yeah, we know we've got a lot of people, some good, that are leaving the SNP next year for the election, right? Hopefully, we've got the right people going in and taking their place to take those seats. But it needs the right people. Needs the right people.
I mean, there is no doubt the SNP are still the only vehicle and the only show in town. Problem is, the driver's crippled at this point in time. John doesn't know where to go or how to turn.
Yeah.
He needs a couple of big election wins.
Well, John hasn't touched the steering wheel in a long, long time.
He needs a win. Said that at the last election. If we lost that election, this stuff would be quashed by the media. And it has been. And it's also been quashed by the SNP itself. They've went quiet on it.
He got his win. He got his win in the last election. Right?
Who did?
John Swinney. John Swinney was, you can say what you like, it might not be Holyrood, right? But John Swinney is still the leader of the party.
He didn't win fuck all at the Westminster election. We get the flare wiped with us.
But still in all, he won. As far as he's concerned.
How can he win? He lost 37 MPs.
So?
That's no winning an election. That's getting slaughtered. There's only 59 MPs.
So what you're trying to tell me is that John Swinney is looking at the Scottish election as his opportunity to win something.
No, it would be the first time. Last time we had John at the helm for the SNP was at the very beginning of the devolution.
Aye, that's right.
And we get fucking slaughtered then and all.
Yeah.
First election coming back as a leader. Instead of pushing full steam ahead for what the electorate wanted, his electorate wanted, the pro-independence side, he fucking shelved a lot.
Yeah.
And he wonders why he lost so heavily.
Yeah.
The only reason why the SNP will win next year's Holyrood election is because Labour have made an absolute arse of themselves and lied to the people of Scotland. And the Holyrood election's coming up fast enough for the people to remember.
Right. So, what happens if the people of Scotland decide, well, we tried Labour and that didn't work out. We'll try this new crowd, Reform, and see if they work out, right? So let's say Reform get a good chunk of the vote in Holyrood. What then? Best idea is right now, get rid of John Swinney. Seriously, say it. Thank you very much, John. Thank you for your service. Thank you very much, right? And put somebody else in that seat that's going to do something.
You rehearsed the branch then, hadn't you, and start a rebellion?
Yeah. Fair enough.
Bergen Mars in the branch and start a rebellion. Unfortunately, my branch meets when I'm at work. There's no doubt.
Well, you heard it here, guys. If any of you are in the branch, if any of you are in the branch for SNP, then for goodness sake, start the ripples. You're not going to do it first time you try it. You're going to have to start the ripples.
Going to have to show some unrest within the party anyway, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, the incident with the ship happened at 09:48 this morning. Aviation fuel is pushing into the North Sea. The ship's on fire. The tanker's on fire. And 30 odd people have been brought ashore. Nobody's hurt as far as I can make out. But the main reason why we want to talk about this story is because of the aviation fuel which was on that mid-range tanker. Because it was produced at Grangemouth. And most of the people here would have watched the Laura Koonsberg, Rachel Reeves interview the Sunday before, where they talked about the cost involved in changing Grangemouth into an aviation production facility, aviation fuel production facility. And David and I find out today it already produces vast amounts of aviation fuel.
Just acting as devil's advocate here, right? Let's say for some reason that aviation fuel had come from somewhere else just to be stored at Grangemouth, right? There is no point, absolutely 0 point whatsoever of leaving that stuff at Grangemouth stored, waiting for it to get moved further south. Absolutely none whatsoever. So therefore, what David and I have found out, reference Greensmouth, and the fact that it is producing jet aviation fuel, then is fact. And, Rachel Reeves, fucking lying bitch again. All right?
Well, actually, we're at the back. Right, next up, we'll go to Canada's new Prime Minister. Canada's next Prime Minister, Mark Carney, vows to win trade war against US President Donald Trump after a landslide victory to replace Justin Trudeau. Ontario's Premier Doug Ford says regulatory electricity tariffs on 1.5 million Americans will proceed, and he will not hesitate to cut off the electricity completely if Trump does not end the chaos of trade wars. Will we see what Mr. Carney had to say? Shall we have a little look, viewers?
Yeah, Mark's a good guy, by the way.
He
saw that in 2014. Yeah.
He played fair with us in 2014, David.
Yeah.
He was uncomfortable in the select committee because it was clear he'd been asked to hide Scotland's wealth, and when asked about it, he didn't. Yeah. He told us exactly how much oil they thought how much oil was left, and they told us exactly what he thought the Scottish financial sector was worth. And between the two of them, it was over 3 trillion quid.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's play this, shall we?
So Donald Trump thinks he can weaken us with his plan to divide and conquer. Pierre Poilievre's plan will leave us divided and ready to be conquered. Because a person who worships at the altar of Donald Trump will kneel before him, not stand up to him. The Americans want our resources, our water, our land, our country. Think about it.
What was that, David? What was that? What was that?
If they succeed,
what was it right there? What was it?
Destroy
what was it, David? Right.
Listen.
No, hang on a second. Hang on a second, right? You look at America wants that from Canada, right? If you look at England, that's precisely what England are doing with us as well. They want our water, our food, everything, electricity, you name it, right? So it takes for Carney to actually do that back to America, and we need somebody better than John Swinney to hit back at England.
Right, now let's make a point. Next time you say pause it, give me a chance to move the bloody pointer before you go pause it. Okay.
Get a fucking move on, right? Come on, let's go.
All you did was fluster me, and it took longer to pause it. Alright, once is enough, I'm no deaf. Okay, let's go again.
Our way of life. And Canada never, ever will be part of America in any way, shape, or form. The Canadian government has rightly retaliated and is rightly retaliating with our own tariffs that will have maximum impact in the United States and minimum impact here in Canada. My government will keep our tariffs on until the Americans show us respect. We didn't ask for this fight, but Canadians are always ready when someone else drops the gloves. So the Americans, they should make no mistake, in trade as in hockey, Canada will win.
Aye, that was quite good.
I hope Mark is able to make things happen for him. Really do. He's definitely got the resolve. And I really do wish that we had somebody in our Holyrood that had the resolve.
Ashbury stumbles. John Swinney's problem is independent supporters who think it is sole responsibility to find a route to at least a referendum, but forget he was elected to run the country within devolved limits. But don't forget it at all.
Don't forget that in the least, Ashbury. But let's not forget the SNP's raison d'etre is
independence.
Is correct.
No, but never mind that. We here on this programme are very clear that John, while no try to find a way out of the union, because we don't need to try and find a way out of the union. We already know the route out of the union. Margaret Thatcher told us.
Yeah.
All right. But it's not about that. John is a very capable public servant. In fact, he's very good public servant. He's a very good manager. And he is good at administrating the country. No doubt about it. But as David just pointed out, and as Alex Salmon pointed out, the genie's out the bottle, it's no going back in. And the raison d'etre of this party is to get us out of this union.
Yeah.
And as far as we can tell, John's stalling. And it might be for good reason. It might be that Dave and I have become impatient. After all, we've been in this fight for a long time. A very long time.
I'll tell you what, the interesting thing, I've seen a few things referencing Mary Black over the past few days. It's almost as if she's looking for a route to put her hat in the ring, reference taking one of the seats.
No, she's no. Definitely no, because selection's up. She could put her name in the hat. She hasn't. So, actually, David, that's bollocks. We're already going through the selection process at the moment. And
yeah, hang on. Hold on. Let me stop you there, right? See, the selection process that the SNP have got, right? It's only words. It really is. It's only words. And it's like if there became a good situation whereby anybody could, and their dog could look at it and go, a good idea if she or he was in that position, right? It'll happen, David. It'll happen. We don't necessarily have to live our life on rules. We don't.
And Hashbury, you're more than entitled to disagree with us. It's one of the joys of doing what we do. We put our opinion out there, and it's up to others to disagree. You see me disagreeing with his opinion all the fucking time.
Yeah, that's right. David and I, I'd literally, if we were in the same room, we'd be holding each other's throats. Well, we made no.
Anyway, can we get back to Canada's Prime Minister?
Yeah.
You brought it back to John again. Canada. I mean, as I say, the route out of this.
Hey, what do you want? You want me to start on with the blooming councils again then?
Oh,
right.
No,
okay.
actually, I don't. Otherwise, you're getting the red card, you bum.
Oh, what about King Big Ears? Getting rid of him. Not my fucking king. Right, there you go. Right.
Anyway, so I'm talking about which the Canadians are no best chocolate either. I was reading a couple of articles on that. But anyway, to say, Prime Minister-elect Carney will take yours shortly. Yeah, he's got the gobs off. He's not taking any bollocks with the big orange man baby. And it would appear the Mexican president's saying the same thing.
Yeah.
So where Trump is nipping back and forth between things, the Canadians and the Mexicans are just crushing them and making them look stupid.
What's really interesting with Trump at the moment is the back chat that you get, the backstory that you're getting, right? There are a lot of people now that are starting to go, Trump's Russian. He's a Russian asset. Yeah.
I will get that, David. I'm not interested in Russian assets at the moment.
Right, okay.
I'm interested in Mark Carney.
I know, but we're talking about Trump, so it seems sensible to bring it in. That's all.
We're actually talking about America's trade wars with Canada and the rest of the world. Right, let's move on. Zelensky lands in Saudi Arabia. As Ukraine apparently are pushing for a partial a truce with Russia and US talks. Now, so apparently Zelensky's been allowed to come and sit at the table or maybe in a side room looking in. But I suppose it's a step forward that Zelensky is being invited.
Aye.
So,
yeah.
Because
that side of it is, or was, you let the big boys talk about this, and we'll call you when it's time. Yeah, that's what you had with Putin and Trump.
Aye.
It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous.
Well, as I say, apparently he's going to be there. Whether he's going to be in the room or not is a different matter.
Yeah.
But he is going to be there, which is a step forward. He also, Russia expels a couple of so-called UK spies, one diplomat and the husband of a diplomat.
Yep.
Their credentials pulled, and they're given a fortnight to go to Russia. And the tit for tat has been going ever since the Cold War, actually.
Yeah. That's right.
Just the way spy, you know.
Yeah.
Just a little
it's like all they were doing was ringing home to give the latest result on the team in Moscow and see how the football went. You're spying. That's spying. That is, out you go, right?
Oh, what it is, it's just a tip for that, you know. You catch a couple, you find out a couple of people are working for the intelligence service, you get shot at them. The same thing happened earlier this year here in the UK. The Russian diplomat found to be working for the Russian intelligence. Where the fuck's the news flashing that?
Well,
anyway,
you know, why haven't if we like to get rid of diplomats or if they like to get rid of diplomats and all the rest of it, right? And that is tit for tat. Why is Lord Lebedev of Siberia still in power?
Because it's a stupid fucking question.
Doesn't.
He's a private citizen. He's not a diplomat.
His dad's in the KGB, or was a KGB also, and personal friend of Putin.
His dad's also very much retired and in his 80s.
Doesn't matter. And Boris Johnson went to have a nice weekend with him. Just before he told Zelensky, look, don't do a deal with Putin. Actually, go to war with him, right? Take them on. And at that time, it was common sense. If Putin had been the one that had been pulling the wires, right, then it would have been sensible, because Putin believed at that time that he was going to be able to take over Ukraine in no time at all, right? And that is the difference. We believe that Boris Johnson was a Russian asset, definitely.
You believe it?
Aye. But if you look at all of everything that was going on at the time, my goodness me, unbelievable. Yeah. Do what David says. Google is your friend. Go looking up some of this.
We don't do adverts.
Right.
Search engines.
Well, you do. Right.
Unfortunately, we all do it by habit, but they're trying to break it.
Yeah. All right. Do look at that. Do get in amongst that, because you never know. It may become very, very relevant in a short amount of time.
Well, anyway, Boris likes a bunga bunga party, and as we know, when we go back to 1987, when Trump took Miss World to Russia, to Moscow,
yeah, that's right.
He liked a bunga bunga party too.
Yeah, and also when he built Trump Towers, right, and he couldn't give away the extra floors, right? What happened? The Russian oligarchs came in and took up loads of floors on his Trump Towers. Next one is he had a large building, a large house that he was selling. The actual list, the price of it, that it was actually put down as 35 million. A lot of money. And he was really in bad stakes in terms of money at the time. And lo and behold, a Russian oligarch came in and paid 95 million and did not take possession of the building at all. Sounds to me like it was just a cash injection for a Russian asset.
Well, certainly be speculating on, David. We've spoken about it before. Is Trump a Russian asset? Is Bojo a Russian asset? There is a body of evidence which would point that way.
Yeah.
But is that enough to just say, aye, that's true? Well, if it was, they wouldn't be where they are today, would they?
Yeah.
Allegedly. Right, let's move on, shall we? Time's ticking over. 6 minutes. Israel, Gaza. European leaders back a realistic plan for Gaza reconstruction put forward by Egypt, but Israel and US say no. Now, this plan would involve keeping the people of Gaza in Gaza. It would ensure that they get humanitarian aid and that while the reconstruction is underway. And the $53 billion dollar plan would be financed by an international consortium, and they've already set up a fund, and it's supported by the United Nations. So, will this plan by Israel, with the pressure from the European nations that agree with this plan, that's the UK, France, Germany, will Israel back down? And is it a conflict of interest for these countries as they're backing Israel as they destroy Gaza, and now they're backing the Arabs for rebuilding Gaza? How would that get done? Well, how would that get done with the Israelis?
Well, I watched some of the Arab League meeting, and I just thought, you lot, as much use as a chocolate fire gal, seriously. And the simple reason is because they sat back and they watched the people of Gaza being torn limb from limb, and they did bugger all.
Well, there's only two of them with nuclear powers.
Yeah.
The rest of them are going to try and get blown up by fucking Israel. There's only one Arab nation that could actually take them on, and that is Iran, because they're also a nuclear power.
Yeah.
You know.
But Iran aren't going to do it, because they know fine well that what would happen is it would end up where their places where they're making nuclear weapons, seemingly, is going to get hit by Israel. So I don't think they're going to want to get involved in that side. The other Arab countries, they had a chance. They had a chance. They could have taken on Israel as a normal, conventionally armed country.
I'm afraid the Arabs are too busy dealing with Islamic insurrections within their own lands.
As far as I'm concerned, you look at them, bunch of rich kids talking shop, Arab League.
Well, a fair few of them are rich, eh? Right, and finally, David, as we wind this one up, Bully Boy Trump says Ukraine might not survive as US halts aid, arms and intelligence to Ukraine. This was in an interview yesterday, and when he was told the consequences of his actions, and that was Russia upping its attacks on Ukraine, Trump said, I'd do that too.
I know. Unbelievable, isn't it?
I think the argument for him being a Russian asset is building pretty strong, actually.
Yeah, allegedly. Allegedly.
Anyway. Allegedly, yeah. But we've got to always remember the alleged bit, David. You know.
Nowadays, I'm too old for this shit. I don't give a fuck. I really don't.
We've noticed, but we want to stay on air, so the alleged bit's where you go in, alright? Yeah. David wanted to stay on air. Viewing figures are dropping like a bomb. Anyway, so believe it or not, Trump admits live on US TV that he knows the consequences of his actions in cutting off aid, arms, and intelligence to Ukraine. Yeah. And he tells the press that if he was Vladimir Putin, he would take advantage of this situation and bomb the shit out of the Ukrainians today. You couldn't make it up.
Yeah, well, Trump's intention is to weaken Ukraine as much as possible.
It would appear so.
And at the moment, rather than Starmer is and also Ryan, the one that's actually putting out the story to the rest of Europe is Macron.
Of course it is.
And Macron could be the one to pull Europe together and put in a proper not peacekeeping, proper give a hand, if you like.
What was interesting Ukraine. Talking about a meeting of European leaders or EU leaders, and the UK wasn't at the table as they were putting together a plan for Ukraine. There was outrage here.
Yeah.
And James O'Brien was laughing about it in his LBC show because that's Brexit. You don't have a seat at the table.
Yeah, that's right.
You're not entitled to a seat at the table.
And looking at it from a European point of view, the situation of having a peacekeeping force there only happens after you have
Peace.
proper peace, simple as that. And peace is not just the lack of war, simple as that, right? And also there is the other thing, which has if we've got people from Europe, the armed forces in Europe, it's like they will be prone to mission creep just the same as anybody else. And they'll end up attacking the Russians. Simple as that.
Professional soldiers won't do that. They'll hold the lines. But
David, it's not soldiers. It's not individual soldiers. Individual soldiers might be good at doing exactly what they're told and the rest of it, right? Mission creep comes from the ones above. The ones above. They've hit us with what? Oh, lob a few missiles back across at that. That's mission creep.
The Russians won't be hitting anybody with anything. I can assure you, if there's a peace treaty and a peacekeeping force, they won't. Anyway, I'm going to let it go at that. We'll cut it off there. Thanks everybody for your super chats today. Thanks for watching the good numbers. Although they're drops, as I said, we're winding this one up. Thanks for tuning in, folks. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 10:30. David will be back with me on Tuesday morning at 10:30 as I hit him with headlines and we put up with whatever crap he comes out with.
Better set the alarm clock now. Oh, fuck. Right, okay.
And thanks, Mr. E. Wow, that's massive.
Wow.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. E.
Now, David, say your independence, because I need to get fucked up. What you go to?
Well, you've already said it, but I'm going to say it again. Time for independence, independence, independence. And keep your politics in your back pocket. And keep your eyes on the blooming prize. And eyes is spelled with an A. Right? Simple as that.
There you go, folks. He's even getting you my catchphrase and all. Brilliant. Saves me the trouble. Look after yourself. See you in the morning. You, don't be fucking
guys.
late. Don't be late and don't be looking at the headlines. Because I want to get a laugh with your reaction to them. Bye for now.